Hello, and welcome to part 4 of building Jabba's sail barge. Before we get started with the build, I have a significant change to the logic thanks to a suggestion made by Professor Toybox. On the positive side, this logic change makes the build easier and far less tedious. On the negative side, all of my build recordings are complete and now contain the additional reset and play logic connections that are no longer necessary. But we'll deal with that as we proceed through the remaining build videos. I think the benefits will far outweigh the negatives of making this logic change for anyone trying to recreate my sail barge here. So we'll go into Spark mode and review the logic that we set up back in part 1. This logic gate is connected to the path creator and turns the path creator on when the ship explodes and disappears below the terrain. Our second logic gate turns the path creator off when we reset to replay the level. This third logic gate has a logic connection to every basic block of the sail barge for reset and play. That's not necessary. We can delete it. So if you followed the first 3 parts of creating the sail barge, I'd like you to delete that third logic gate as well. So we'll take a look at our properties here of our path creator. And originally I started with the active turned to off. And if we scroll on down to auto start objects when connected, we're going to turn this off. This is what I just learned from Professor Toybox, something I was unaware of. And now we're going to come up to active and we're going to turn that back on. When you do this, what you've created so far will likely disappear below the train, like you're going to see my barge disappear below the train. So we want active to be on and the auto start to be off. Alright, now we have to also change the logic settings within our 2 logic gates. So we'll go to our path creator on output. We initially had it set to on. We want to change that to reset and play. So make that change. Our second logic gate here, the path creator on output, we had set to off. We want to change that to reset and stop. So make that change as well. Now because my sail barge was complete in this clip, I also have Jabba still there and the replayer item still there, so I need to hit this button here and that will remove those items. And now when I shoot the reset button, the barge and all the replayer items and Jabba as well will reappear. So this new logic works without having to make all those individual connections to each basic block for reset and play. Unnecessary logic. And this button here, this sets off the entire explosion sequence. And we'll see this works just as well. And there it goes. So I think this is a big improvement over my original logic setup. And like I said, anyone who wants to build this sail barge according to my specifications, it'll make the build much simpler for you without having to make all those reset and play connections. The benefits far outweigh the negatives. Just take another quick look here. Once again, at our path creator properties, we want the active to be left on, and auto start objects when connected, we want that to be off. And our first logic gate, the path creator on output, reset and play. That'll make the barge disappear. And our second logic gate, path creator on output, reset and stop. That'll make everything reappear. So I think that's a huge improvement to the logic. That's why he's the professor, and I'm happy to be the student. So thanks again for that suggestion. I think this will make everything much better moving forward. Alright, we're going to continue here and we're going to complete the bow section in this video. So we have this long wedge block and we're going to connect this up to the path. And we'll have to adjust its properties. Now once again, I was recording here live, so I'm going to struggle a bit here a little while until I get the proper settings, particularly since the camera just doesn't want to cooperate with me. I'm going to move in a negative direction to make it go forward. And a vertical offset up about 6. And a forward backwards 2. And we're going to do a one-way and stop. Actually, I got it right on. Let's take another look at that. Horizontal -26, vertical 6, forward and backward 2, and one-way and stop. Now, because of the changes we just made with the path creator, we don't need to do the reset and plays anymore. So this third logic gate, we just deleted that out, so you can skip this part. Because if you follow along with me, you've also deleted that logic gate. So for part 4 and the remaining parts all the way through part 8, all my reset and play logic, we won't need to make any of those connections. So we have our second long wedge block here. We'll connect this up to the path as well. And we'll go into its properties. And horizontal again is going to be in a negative direction. Should match the other one, -26. And the vertical should match the other one and go up +6. Camera view is actually cooperating with me for a change. And forward backward this time will be -2. And we're going to set our movement style to one-way and stop. So once again we have -26, 6, -2, and one-way and stop. Alright, once again, don't need to make this connection, so disregard this. I thought it was going to be a little bit too tedious for me to go back and edit or redo all these videos, so we'll just have to live with it. Alright, I have a square block here. 2 of them side by side, so we're going to hook up the first one here to the path. And as soon as I can point to it here, we'll go to its properties. There we go. So I know I need this to be about a vertical offset of 6, but now my camera view is not cooperating. So this one I'm going to struggle with a bit here to get the correct settings. Sometimes you just have to play around with it, maybe come back out and see if you can adjust the camera view, and sometimes it just won't cooperate like that. So I'm just going to try and move it a direction here and take another look at it. So I can see that actually came off the back of the sail barge, so I'm actually going to move it forward. I'm not really sure where it needs to be, but we'll set it to where we think it needs to be and then go take a look. So I went 22 on that, so I was a little bit too far forward. So now I can finally see where the block is. So in this case, I need to back this off to a +20 forward and backward. And our horizontal will go a +2. And the vertical is 6, forward, backward 20. And we want our movement style to be one-way and stop. So there we go. Horizontal 2, vertical 6, forward, backward +20, one-way and stop. And once again, this logic connection is no longer necessary. Hopefully gives everyone a little bit of chance if you're recreating this just to get your settings correct, particularly if your block is not rotated the correct way. If your block is oriented different than mine, spun around a different direction, and you use my settings and it goes the wrong direction, just alter your settings until it goes into the proper position for you. So we have a second square block here. So up 6. Now if I had been paying attention to that first block, I should have known what the settings for this one. It should have been a -2 horizontal, +6 vertical, and a forward backward of 20. So there we go. I finally got it. -2 horizontal, +6 vertical, 20 forward, and we need to do a movement style of one way and stop. And there's a review of our settings one more time for you. Once again, reset and play, not necessary. I apologize for this, but the suggestion to remove that logic gate and change the path creator logic was just too good to pass up. It'll save a lot on memory for your game as well. Alright, so we have this quarter dome, and we're going to hook this up to the path as well. And because I recorded this a while ago, I don't exactly remember how much I struggled with each of these pieces, but let's find out together. So vertical offset should be about 6. Alright, trying to change my camera view here again. It just likes to go to the bottom of the Sarlacc pit, doesn't it? This could have been better in the game. I'm going to try this direction here with forward backwards. And that was the wrong direction. So it's the horizontal in the negative direction. That's going to move it forward. And the forward backward is what moves it side to side. And we'll do a one-way and stop. Alright, one more time. Horizontal -20, vertical +6, forward backward +6, and one way and stop. And again, disregard this step. Alright, we have another quarter dome on this side. I'll grab that and it'll sit opposite the first quarter dome that we just placed. And our properties. Up 6. To see if I was really paying attention to what I was doing the last time, I should have known what to do with the remaining properties here, but I'll go back in and we'll get them set correctly here. So I need my horizontal to go -6 with this block, and my forward backwards will be +20 as well. There we go. And movement style, one way and stop. So once again, horizontal -6, vertical +6, forward, backward +20, one way and stop. And again, this is not a needed connection. Alright, we have another square block here. This will sit right behind the quarter dome. I'm reviewing my properties here to try and get a clue as to how this block will fit in. That's what I did there. So, new path connection. Look it up and adjust its properties. So I tried -4, that was wrong. +6 on the vertical is correct. Again, my camera is just not giving me the view I need. So I'll go take a look at it, and I went completely the wrong direction. So this block was set different, had a different, I must have set it in the toy box opposite of the way of the other square blocks. So I actually need my forward backward up to go -16 in this case. That puts it in that corner, but I wanted it in the other corner. So we do need to make a one-way and stop. And again, the reset and play is not necessary. I could have just set that other block on the other corner, but I elected to go back and put it on the side that I initially wanted it on. So this horizontal needs to be a +6. Either way, it'll work. And there's the settings once again. 6, 6, and -16. Alright, another square block. I'll go behind our quarter dome on this right hand side. Let's see if I did a better job this time. Yeah, -6. Vertical +6. And the forward backward of -16, and we got it in the correct place. So once again, our properties for this block: -6, +6, -16, and movement style will switch to one way and stop. Again, reset and play is no longer required. Alright, we have a 1x3 block here. We'll connect that up next. And we'll adjust our properties for this. My horizontal, I want to come out -2 to get it to the edge. I know I need to go up +6. And the camera cooperated with me until that point there. And the forward backward, I could see that the positive was taking it towards the stern, so I need to move it forward. Positive value. Not quite where we need it yet. So this is going to be a -12 forward backward, and the horizontal will be -4 with a vertical of +6. Or was it -2? Let's take a look. -2 it was. Alright, here we go. Horizontal -2, up 6, and forward backward -12, and we need our one-way and stop. That gap there in the middle of the bow, that's okay. We don't need to fill that in. It'll be covered with the blocks on top. And again, this is an unnecessary step. Don't need it anymore. Alright, next we have another square block, and that's going to sit right next to our 1x3 block to fill in that gap there. Connect it up to our path. And struggle with my properties again, most likely. Any bets on how well I did? Right now I'm not betting on it. Alright, I got it up to where it needs to be at +6. Frustrating camera views. Alright, if you can't see it, just move it and see where it's going to go. Alright, looks like a +6 horizontal moved it to the edge, vertical a +6, and our forward backwards we're going to move it in the negative direction. Should be -12, and there it was. Alright, let's take another look for everybody. Horizontal 6, vertical up 6, forward backward -12, and movement style one-way and stop. Again, if you're using my settings and your blocks are moving in the opposite direction, you probably just need, like if I used a negative value, you probably just need to use a positive value, and vice versa. If I use a positive value, you may just need to use a negative value. In rarer cases, if your block is rotated 90 degrees from mine, your horizontal may become forward backward, and your forward backward will become horizontal as compared to my settings. Like I said, just move it around, and if it doesn't work, readjust the settings until it works for how you've oriented your blocks. So we have another long wedge block here. It's going to sit on top of what we've constructed so far. Alright, so vertical offset set should be about +10. Get it to sit up top. Horizontal is in a negative direction. We'll move it forward for my orientation. You know, I'm just kind of guessing here. And forward, backwards. I think I want to go in the positive direction. Alright, so it's a little bit too far forward, so we'll need to fix that. If you haven't caught on by now, don't adjust your settings until I've reviewed my settings for you. Then you can see how your settings compare to mine. And then adjust as necessary. Still don't have it quite right. Definitely need the movement style set to one way and stop. And I just need to come up and take a look at it here because I'm guessing too much. So I'm too far forward and too far left. Still struggling with it. And you can see how this is a lot of just experimentation and trial and error. But you can create your own vessels and ships and that using this path creator with the basic blocks. And if you just have the patience to stick with it, you can create some pretty incredible things. Alright, so I got it in the right position forward and backwards, but I'm still too far left. Yeah, I think I decided to leave it where it was. Again, reset and play is not necessary. You won't be making this connection either. Alright, this time I just decided to leave it alone and move it over. We'll just put that block next to it, but here again I have this glitch. It's come off the path. So if we delete our path creator for this particular wedge block and then create a new path connection, go back to the path creator and hook it up, it'll return to its correct position because it remembers the property. So that's back in place. Alright, now this one, go ahead and hook it up. We got our properties. It should be about a -18 forward, a +10 up, and a +2 forward and backwards. And we'll set our movement style to one way and stop. We're getting there. -18 horizontal, vertical 10, forward, backward +2, and one way and stop. And again, the reset and play logic is no longer needed. Sounding like a broken recording. Alright, we have another quarter dome here. I think what I wanted to do here first was refresh my memory on what these settings were. Alright, connected it to the path. Again, going into properties and deal with our lousy camera angles. So vertical should be +10. Forward, backward +6, and horizontal we need to move it forward. I think 16 minus 16 was maybe too far. We'll go take a look at it here. Oh, I got it right the first time. How about that? Miracles do happen. Alright, we'll take another look at our properties here as well. So you can see that again. So horizontal -16. Vertical +10. Forward, backward +6. And our movement style, one way and stop. And we can skip over this. Alright, we have another quarter dome here. It's going to sit on the opposite side. So once again, I'm checking these properties just to get an idea. I should have checked the one, rechecked the properties of the one we just changed, because the only property that's changed is the horizontal offset. Alright, we'll hook it up to our path like everything else. And let's see how I do with my properties again. So I went horizontal +6, that put that on the wrong side. Vertical does need to be 10. So I need to make this a -6. This is why I don't go to Vegas. I'm not a very good gambler. Alright, and I went +16 on the forward backwards. Alright, that worked. Let's go back and take another look. So for this quarter dome, horizontal -6, vertical up 10, forward backward +16, and get your one way and stop for your movement style. And again, don't need this reset and play. Trust me, we're getting closer to the finish line. It's coming slowly, but we're getting there. If you made it this far to the video with me, you have a lot of patience. Thank you. Alright, I have a curve block here, 2 of them. This just kind of adds a little bit to the rounded front edges of the bow. Again, we're going to be back to playing guessing games as to where this went. This is kind of like a live build, because I did record all of these when I was building it live the first time. I just didn't want to have to rebuild it a second time. Being back to work the full time, I just don't have that much time, so that's why these videos are a little bit tedious. Actually, a lot tedious, so thanks again for hanging in there with me. Alright, I got it up at the right height, but in the completely wrong position. Let's see how forward backward a +12 did. Nope, that moved it backwards. So I need that forward backwards to be a negative value. Vertical +10 is correct. Forward backwards, I think about -12. That looks like that did it. There we go. That's in position. we'll take one more look at it for you here. If your properties are opposite of mine, it's because your block is rotated 180 degrees from mine. So just adjust your property. So I have a horizontal -4. I'm up 10. And forward, backward, -12. And we'll set our movement style once again to one way and stop. And we can skip our reset and play logic. Alright, I have this one last half dome to go, and then 2 more square blocks to go, and this part will mercifully come to an end. Alright, let's see how we do this time. I'm still not taking any bets. Vertical definitely needs to be up 10. Forward, backward, -12. It should be the same as my other block. And my horizontal will be +2. Or was it +4? +4. And one way and stop for the movement style. We'll take one more quick look here. Horizontal +4. Up 10. Forward -12. And one way and stop. Alright, we're not going to worry about this connection again. Originally I left it at this because I wasn't sure how I was going to fill in that gap, but I decided to just use 2 square blocks. So I'm going to cut here to the next clip. And we're going to bring in a couple of square blocks here. And if you notice on my kiln theme, you see how the arrows are kind of pointing forward? The design, the pattern, it looks like arrows pointing forward. If you rotate your blocks the same way as mine, your properties will end up being the same as mine. Hook the first block up. Again, the vertical should be +10. And my horizontal, if I want it to move right, I actually have to go in the positive direction. I think I left it where it was. So I'm totally in the blind here, so negative forward backward was the wrong direction. So I need the forward backward to be positive. If I want to move it to the right, the horizontal needs to be positive, and the forward backward needs to be positive as well. And forward +12, looks like that works. Up 10 and a horizontal of +2 and a movement style of one way and stop. And that fits in there just right. So here's your properties one more time to review. Horizontal +2, vertical +10, forward backward +12. One way and stop. And once again, we're going to skip this step of reset and play. Alright, so skip that, not needed. The last block. Let's see how we do. The last block, finally. It's been a long video, a long process. plus 10 on the vertical. I got that part nailed, I tell you what. I'm consistent with that every time. Forward, backward, plus 12. And my horizontal should be a -2. Movement style, one way and stop. And we'll go ahead and take a look at it here. Perfect, where it needs to be. Another quick review for you. I've got -2 horizontal, up 10, plus 12 forward, and one way and stop. Alright, last time of me saying you can skip this step. Whew, we made it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted after this. Let's take a quick look and see how it's looking. Our barge is shaping up. We've got the bow complete. And this part here, under the nose of it, this is actually where the cockpit was. And I could never tell from pictures or from the movie that there was ever any windows. They must have just had instrumentation that gave them a view of the outside of where they were steering the sail barge. So the cockpit is actually inside that bow nose section. So let's see how we did here. If you followed the new logic, this should work just as well without all that reset and play logic with the third logic gate. Alright, so that brings our long part 4 finally to a close. Thanks again for sticking it out with me. If you're recreating this, I hope yours is turning out well. I hope at least my ideas, if you want to make yours look a little different, help you come up with a plan to create your own sail barge, even if you don't follow my specifications or my design. So again, thanks for making it all the way through to the end with me, and have a great day. We'll look forward to seeing you on part 5.